Feel for philosophy. Feel the thought, think the feeling. Welcome to my new discussion on the philosophy of Jiddu Krishnamurti. Today, we will explore the basic concepts of the philosophy of Jiddu Krishnamurti. Please stay with us. Presented by Feel for Philosophy.
So, what if I told you the path to truth has no path? Kind of weird, right? Well, today we're going to dive into the mind of one of the most fascinating and honestly paradoxical thinkers of the 20th century, Jiddu Krishnamurti. This is a guy who basically told the world to question everything.
All right, to really get a handle on this, we've got to start with this one. Just unbelievable moment in history. Seriously, this single event pretty much defined his entire way of thinking.
So picture this. We're in Holland. It's 1929. There's this huge camp, and you can just feel the energy in the air. Something big is about to happen. And when I say huge, I mean there are 3,000 people there. And they've come from all over the globe, right? They're all there to see this one charismatic young man from India who they believe is the new world teacher. I mean, this is a role he's been groomed for since he was a little kid. But then, he gets up on stage, everyone's waiting, and instead of accepting this incredible honor, he drops a total bombshell. He utters this one single sentence. And just like that, he dissolves the entire global organization that was built just for him. He basically fired himself from the biggest spiritual job on the planet. Can you imagine? So what on earth did he mean by that? Was this just some dramatic stunt? Or was this the beginning of a completely radical, mind-bending philosophy? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into. Okay, so think about it. If there's no path, no teacher, no religion to guide you, I mean, where do you even start if you're looking for some kind of peace? Krishnamurti's answer was, well, it was radical. He said, the only place to begin is right inside your own mind, in your consciousness. The way he saw it, our consciousness, all our thoughts, our fears, our beliefs, the whole shebang, that's what actually creates the world we live in. And that leads to a pretty wild conclusion. All the chaos and conflict we see out there in the world, it's just a reflection, like a mirror, of the chaos and conflict going on inside each and every one of us. Okay, and this is where his ideas get really mind-blowing. Krishnamurti basically said that your brain isn't actually your brain. It's not personal. Think of it more like shared hardware, the same model that all of humanity has been using for millions of years. So if the brain is the hardware, then our consciousness is the software that's running on it. And yeah, we might have different apps, different cultures, different languages, but the underlying operating system, the core emotions like fear, greed, jealousy, loneliness, that's exactly the same for every single human. And the implication of this is huge and honestly a little tough to wrap your head around. It means the whole idea that we're separate individuals, defined by a name, a country, a religion, it's just an illusion. He's saying you aren't just one person. You are all of humanity. So when you feel pain, it's not just your pain. It's humanity's pain. Okay, so this raises a pretty massive question, right? If we're all just running the same collective software, this shared consciousness, how do you ever break free? How do you find freedom if there's no guide, no how-to manual, no path? Well, Krishnamurti's answer to that is something he called choiceless awareness. And look, this isn't some meditation you do for 20 minutes and then forget about. It's more like a way of being. It's the simple act of observing reality, both what's going on inside your head and what's happening around you, without any judgment at all. Let's break that down, because it can sound a bit abstract. Let's take something like anger. Normally we think, okay, I am angry, right? It feels like there's you, the observer, and then there's this anger, the thing you're observing. But Krishnamurti says, nope, that's an illusion. The you that's watching the anger is actually made up of all the memories and past hurts that caused the anger in the first place. So the observer is the thing being observed. They're not separate. And here's the kicker. When you really, truly see that they're the same thing, something incredible happens. Suddenly, there's no one left to judge the anger. No one to say this is bad or to try and push it down. There's just the raw energy of the emotion. And in that pure, non-judgmental moment, it just dissolves. It's gone. No residue left behind. Now, this connects to another one of his big ideas, that thought is time. I mean, think about it for a second. Where do any of your thoughts come from? They all come from memory, right? From something you've experienced in the past. So by its very nature, every thought you have is already old. It's a product of the past. And this is exactly why he said you can't think your way out of something like anxiety or fear. Trying to analyze your fear with your thoughts, he said that's like pouring gasoline on a fire. Why? Because the thoughts you're using are built from the same past memories that are causing the fear. The only way out, he said, is to step outside of that loop of thought, outside of time, into that state of choiceless awareness. But all of this brings us to a huge, fascinating paradox about Krishnamurty himself. Here's a guy who spent his entire life telling millions of people to reject all authority, and in the process, he became a massive spiritual authority figure for those very same people. And you can see he really wrestled with this his whole life. I mean, on the one hand, his absolute core message was, don't follow anyone, be your own light. But on the other hand, he would talk about this vast intelligence he called the otherness that he felt spoke through him. He even suggested he'd found a way, like flipping a switch that others could use, which, let's be honest, sounds a lot like a path from the guy who famously said there are no paths. So in the end, Krishnamurty didn't leave behind a nice, neat set of beliefs or easy answers. Not at all. His real legacy is a challenge. It's an invitation to look at yourself relentlessly without any filters. He didn't give us any crutches to lean on. He basically said, you have to stand on your own 2 feet and figure this out for yourself. And maybe, just maybe, that's where real freedom actually starts. And just when you think you've got a handle on it, there's one last piece to this puzzle, and it's a real head-scratcher. This man, the one who rejected all systems, all organizations, and said there are no paths, he went on to found 7 schools around the world. Which leaves us with one last, big, provocative question. How do you teach a philosophy that says truth cannot be taught inside a school? I mean, how can you build an institution around a teaching that is completely against institutions? It's a fascinating problem, and it's the unresolved paradox right at the heart of everything Krishnamurty was about.
Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe. Your support encourages me to create more content. Thank you.